different without knowing why? To me, it has happened a lot of times during all my life. And I thought that I was crazy because of that. But I actually realized that I was not just a few years ago. My name is Lorenza Velarde, and I am 17 years old. I belong to a family majorly formed by men. I have an older brother who's 19 years old, and I have always wanted a sister, but I never got the opportunity of having one. From my father's side, I have 4 male cousins and 1 female cousin. I get along very well with all of them. I am the youngest of them all, and the other girl is the oldest. She's 30 years old. I enjoy a lot being with her, but due to the age difference, we are very different in many aspects. From my mother's side, I have 3 male cousins and 1 female cousin. She's only 1 month younger than me, and when we were kids, we used to spend a lot of time together. But with time, we have separated, and I rarely see her due to family stuff. All of this began when I was young, so basically, I have grown up with only men. Here are some pictures of me with my cousins from both families when we were younger. What I felt when I thought that I was crazy was anxiety. A few years ago, I knew what it was. I didn't even know that it existed. And I will explain what it is for those of you who don't know. Anxiety as a general idea is an emotion that makes people feel preoccupation or fear in different situations. There are different types of anxiety, and it is very common for people to have it. It makes us feel alert and helps us to be more prepared to deal with stuff. Some examples of when we can feel it can be when we are about to give a presentation to a big group of people, when we are talking to strangers, when we are near an animal we are afraid of, and there are many other situations. I never saw any of my family members feel what I felt, and that is why I thought that I was crazy. One day I began to think why I have never seen any of my family members talking or having something related to what I have felt before. Some days ago, I read a book called Under Pressure, written by Lisa Damore, and this is where I realized why I have never seen anxiety in any of them. While reading it, I learned that girls are way more anxious than boys, and I will tell you why. In chapter 4, which is called Girls Among Boys, the author talks about experiences that girls have lived while being around men. I will show you 2 things that the author wrote in the book, which are very interesting and relate a lot to the topic that I'm talking to you about. The first one is, over and over, they described how guys crossed lines with them and how they were made to feel as though they had no right to react to these boundary violations. The second one is, the descriptions of the harassment they received from boys and men outside of the school have been confirmed by research from around the country. A report from the American Association of University Women found that nearly half of all 8th through 11th grade girls had been touched, grabbed, pinched, or intentionally brushed up against in sexual way while at school. She begins by telling about the topic of Me Too, which is a movement that is used to break the silence and report cases of aggression and sexual abuse. Women are more probable to suffer from abuse than men, and it can happen from strangers or even with people who are close to us. And this creates our level of anxiety to increase. As girls, we react very differently than boys in different situations, and that is why we suffer more from anxiety. We worry a lot more than men. We get preoccupied about how we look, about our grades, about popularity, and they do too, but way less. And sometimes they don't even care while we have it in mind a lot. By naturality, our bodies react in that way, and actually we feel more pressure than boys do, and we worry much more emotionally. That is the general idea of why we as women are more anxious than men. The whole world should know about this, because there are many people living the same situation and experience that I had, and they aren't even conscious of what anxiety is. We should help ourselves and the people around us by letting them know about this. That is everything that I wanted to talk with you about today. It was a pleasure sharing my story with you. Thank you very much. Goodbye.